Good day and welcome to Mission Control Houston, an early edition today following that event with Paulo Nespoli of the Expedition 26 crew aboard the International Space Station, talking with the BBC as the space station orbited about 220 statute miles over the North Atlantic, heading for the coast of Ireland and the United Kingdom. All systems aboard the International Space Station working very well right now as the crew, led by Commander Scott Kelly, along with flight engineers Alexander Kaleri, Oleg Skropochka, Katie Coleman, Dmitry Kondratyev, and of course Paulo Nespoli, are working through a busy day of scientific research and preparations for the arrival of the next cargo vehicle, the Japanese-built and launched HTV-2 vehicle, Kanatori. Crew's been awake as usual since about midnight Central Time. Started out its days with some cable runs by Commander Scott Kelly to set up for the arrival of the Kanatori vehicle, which is going to be carrying tons of supplies and equipment up to the International Space Station. They also did some transfer of equipment, getting ready for the spacewalk that's coming up on the 21st of the month by Oleg Skropochka and Dmitry Kondratyev. They'll be doing some further outfitting of the exterior of the Russian segment of the International Space Station, installing an antenna system for docking on one of the more newly arrived docking modules, running some cables to that antenna system to a camera system, and then also setting up a high-speed antenna and downlink system for the Russian segment of the station, very similar to the high-speed data link used on the U.S. segment of the station. And so working together, Katie Coleman and Scott Kelly were actually building these cables that will be used to attach the Kanatori vehicle to the systems aboard the International Space Station. Once it hits it berthed, it'll be berthing to the Earth-facing port of the Harmony module of the International Space Station.
That we built, but understand for this, the OGS cable test, that is for the cable that we did not build, but was built on, Expedition 24.
The space station currently at a slightly higher altitude after a reboost last night that took place about 3 a.m. Central Time. It boosted the space station's altitude up to 223.6 by 215.3 statute miles. It took an 11-minute, 4-second firing of the Progress 39 thrusters on the Russian side of the station to make that altitude increase. This whole reboost was designed to put the station in the proper altitude for the rendezvous and berthing of the Japanese HTV-2 cargo ship, which is scheduled to launch from the Tanegashima Space Center in southern Japan, and for the day 3 rendezvous opportunities for the Space Shuttle Discovery, which is scheduled to launch toward the end of February, later on in the early part of this year.
Regarding the setup,
crew has its normal schedule of exercise activities as well, 2.5 hours worth of workouts on both the resistive exercise equipment that will allow for the proper muscular development and maintenance of their systems, also working out on stationary bicycles as well as on treadmill systems that allow them to run and walk in place and keep their cardiovascular systems in good shape. All that also designed to keep them ready for the return to one gravity at the conclusion of their 6-month-long mission. The crew right now is about halfway through their day and coming up on additional activities with the robotic operations that will be needed to berth the Kanatori spacecraft to the International Space Station. One more training session following several other training sessions. At the conclusion of those robotics workstation training sessions, we can see the robotics workstation right here set up for the training sessions. They'll have to disconnect the cabling because there are going to be some updates sent up later on this weekend to update the computer systems on board the space station. They'll have to then rewire the system for the upcoming arrival and docking of Kanatori.